Welcome everyone to round 2 of May 28th Star Wars Unlimited Locals Night over at Valkyrie Vault in Brownsburg, Indiana. If you guys are looking for a place to play some Star Wars Unlimited, check out Valkyrie Vault in Brownsburg, Indiana. Thursday nights, 6 p.m., $5 entry. And as I stated in round 1, you're going to get a lot of Maul gameplay here. Actually, I think this is actually the last round of this night of Maul gameplay, because round 3 does not actually include any Maul gameplay at all, if I recall. But anyways, we have a mirror match of Maul LOF Force Blue against Maul LOF Force Blue, while both of us are on different strategies, myself over here. It's still very much the exact same idea of how Maul LOF just works. So in the end, let's see which version of Maul LOF Force Blue will win round number 2 here as we get into game number 1. Anyways, we're going to start off with Night Sister Warrior, and then I'm going to go for a Karis here, as we're just both going to pass. That does allow us both to have the Force as well, which is pretty nice here to start immediately at the beginning. Anyways, Night Sister Warrior is going to deal 2 damage, and then it's going to give it the Force, and then I'm going to go for a Karis and do 2 damage to gaining the Force. Then we're going to have a Secret of Sage coming down. Of course, my opponent didn't have any tokens or anything like that, so I gave him a shield from my 3D printed collection. And then we're going to go for a Grand Inquisitor, top 8 Grand Inquisitor. I only own 2 top 8 Grand Inquisitors, was not lucky to get a complete playset of Grand Inquisitor in the store showdown. But nonetheless, still very cool. He's not okay, I guess, legendary. Felt like that one, plus, and I think next was then Queen Amidala, which exploded in popularity, and then after that, you had the Maul, which of course didn't go anything like that. But anyways, both of us are going to go trigger the Maul effect here, ping ping. I did ping off the shield off the Secret of Sage there, because again, I am forced to, once again, force on the backside and the front side, you have to ping 2 objects. That is not a you may ping up to 1 object. No, that is a you must ping 2 objects. Again, you do as much of the effect as possible. So in this case, if you didn't have 2, you technically couldn't do it. So anyways, we're going to go for the Secret Sage, create the Force here, and then we're going to go for the GI, and then GI swinging in the base. Into the base, they're creating the Force. I am up on attack power because of the fact that I have a GI out, which deals 3 damage, other than my opponent being able to only do 2 damage on that. So I deal 5 damage at my opponent per turn, while my opponent undoes 4. So I'm up 1 more damage point on them than just anything else. So I do have the advantage of attack, and that's pretty much what I will call here, as both of us are kind of deciding on what we want to do now. So go out just figuring it out. I believe my opponent has the initiative here because I swung with the GI, so they're just kind of thinking, what do they want to do? Whether they want to trigger the Maul effect here and burn the Force, knowing that they have the Night Sister Warrior to trigger the Force, or do they want to go for a Thousand's Assassin, because they do have the ability to go for Thousand's Assassin, give something -3/-3. And of course, it looks like they do have a Shadow Point. If they want to go for a Shadow Point effect as well, they could do that as well. So it could be very interesting exactly what they want to do against me here. Again, I'm not really risking it. Remember, as a Maul, if they have the Maul, it does mean that they immediately kill me off here, as my opponent's deciding they do have the Thousand's Assassin giving -3/-3. That is going to go kill off the GI here, and just kind of figuring out what we want to do here. I do have the Shadow Point as well. Again, nothing really can kill me on this board state, so I'm just kind of figuring out, as a reminder, I need to be able to use if I'm going to go for the Force, I should go for the Force now. So anyways, we're just going to have Karis kill off the Night Sister Warrior, and then we're going to have the effect of that one to allow my opponent to draw 1 card there. And then my opponent did take the initiative there, so we're going to ping and ping, and then I'm going to go for the Shadow Point, the little Shadow Point effect there, to immediately kill off, to immediately wipe out the board. Again, the best way of choking pointing any one Force strategy is you just got to choke point him. You just got to deal with their Force units. You just got to get rid of them so the opponent cannot generate the Force in any capacity here. So we're just going to have the Karis and the Secret of Sage kill each other off here, because again, we do need to be able to that way, of course, that neither of us generate the Force, but my opponent does have the Force because it got generated when the Secret of Sage swung. So that is a thing I don't, is again, the fact of the matter is they got the Force over me. So anyways, after that, I just decided to take a soft pass. My opponent then took a claim there, meaning that we both moved on to the next round here, as we're both going to then flip our Maul Gaming. And then we're going to go for a Whirlwind of Power, giving me -3/-3, and then we're going to go for an Anakin Skywalker, give my opponent -3/-3, and then my opponent's going to put a Mastery, which basically negates the entirety of the -3/-3 I put on, which I wanted to use to try to kill off his Maul. And then I'm going to ping my Maul and his Maul with my effect here, and then pretty much that be that Yeah, that mastery getting put on when I wanted to go for the -3/-3 really did suck. So anyways, then we're going to ping the my Maul for 1 there on the Maul trigger, and then hit my Anakin for 1 as well, and then we're going to kill off my Maul there, of course taking 2 damage points back from my Maul. Now, again, yeah, it does have now 3 damage, which is the maximum health point it got from, of course, from the mastery here, but now I'm trying to figure out what exactly I want to do here. Honestly, I probably should just swing in the Anakin, dealing the 5 damage, and then maybe going for the punishing 1 to then kill off the Maul here. But the problem is I didn't really want to take all that Maul damage to the face. Probably not the best idea I thought about here, but anyways, we are going to go with the punishing 1, pinging the Maul for 1 here. That does mean the Anakin can kill the Maul unless he has a way to negate the Anakin's damage threshold as well. So anyways, we're just going to go for, yep, exactly what I thought. Anyways, that's just going to get us hit when faced with of course, a Shadow Point burning the Force, and then we're going to have them all swing in for 8, and then we're going to ping and ping, and then I'm going to take that all to the face there, and of course the back to the Force, meaning that Shadow Point is back online as well. I do have a Force unit out myself, but I already own the Force, so there's not really much else to do. I can burn the Force here to ping and ping, so I could ping my Secret Sage for 1 and then ping his Maul for 1 more, just making sure I can slowly chip damage him to the point of everything. But unfortunately, the Anakin just doesn't have enough power to really do it in this turn. So anyways, I'm going to use the Force, I'm going to ping and ping, and then my opponent is going to take the initiative there, and then basically that will be that. So just kind of figuring out what we want to do now and this point of the game state, because I do still have the punishing 1 to swing in for another 1 damage point there, which is pretty not too bad overall. Again, I'll have raid 1 on the attack, so I'll be doing 4 damage on the attack. The problem is the Maul outpaces me in damage because it's going to swing for 8, and I'm going to be at 20 damage. Again, remember, Force bases are only 28 health on them. So anyways, the Maul is going to come in, swing in for a massive amount of damage here, and then we're going to go ping and ping, killing off the Secretive Sage here, which isn't really great because I did definitely need the Force there. So anyways, we're going to go for the punishing 1 to ping 1 damage on the Maul here, and then ping, that's basically it, and then going for 4 damage at the base there. Anyways, we're going to go for Thousand Assassin to kill off that. I don't think my opponent took any damage to that base, by the way. So anyways, we're going to go for a chart here. I don't know why I just didn't decide to go for the Anakin there and kill off the Maul there with the -3/-3. I think that would have been the better play. Just get the Anakin off the board there. I guess I thought because Chert is a 3/5 that it is probably a little better. Probably thinking that maybe that was the incorrect play here, as we're just going to go for a -3/-3 on the Chert, and then that basically being a pass. Actually, no, sorry, they burnt the Force on the first Thousand Assassin, didn't have the Force again because they only had out 1 Force guy. But yeah, yeah, that kind of sucked there. So anyways, we're going to go for the Anakin to immediately remove, of course, the Maul there, and then having that be removed off the board here. And then, of course, we still have the 2000 Assassin, but again, sure, it does guard against both of them being able to attack him, so basically that would be it. And then we're going to go for a -3 from the good old Anakin Skywalker here. Then we're going to go for Chur to gain me the Force, but no damage at the base. Then Chur is going to die here. There's just no real point to anything. And also, we're just going to let the Chur die, and then basically, I really don't just have any way to deal with this board state here, as we're just going to go for the Karis down the battlefield, and then basically, I'm still just outpaced, even though I think my opponent forgot to put damage on his base. But 2000 Assassins, 2 Anakins, yeah, there's just no way I can be able to get through this game save, so I'm just going to claim, I mean, my opponent literally can have 2 bodies swing, I mean, 1000 Assassin swing, and then next turn 1000 Assassin swing. There's just no way for me to kill it all off. I think really that Maul really did hurt me when I couldn't really do anything about it, and also not really having the Force either. So I'm not gonna resource because there's not really a point here. Because again, my opponent does have the game in all capacity. Because again, they'll just be able to swing for 1000 Assassin. I do have a turret though. Lucky me, I guess I draw, but it doesn't really matter. Out of the airlock, you have -5/-5. That will just immediately kill me off, and then I'm just going to scoop up game number 1 as we go into game number 2. Here we go, folks. Game number 2. Let's see if I can do any better here as I'm deciding what we want to do. We're going to take Karis, and then my opponent is going to take the initiative. Ooh, no starter turn there, which is pretty nice. That does mean they are down a guy for right now. So anyways, then my opponent's just going to take the initiative again. Ooh, it still can't find anything. We're just going to swing for the Karis for 2, and I'm going to pass because I missed a turn 3 play. You know, nothing like missing your turn 3 play, which technically I did have a turn 3 play, no disintegration, but technically there was nothing to no disintegrate there. Anyways, Technically, I also should have the force there. I finally actually realized it because I did swing at the Karis there, giving me the force. Anyways, we're going to go for 1,000 Assassin, 1,000 Assassin, get -3/-3 to, of course, turret, and then I'm going to kill off the turret with the Karis, getting me back to the force there, and then that's going to be a pass. My opponent here just can't seem to find anything to really play. I am not right now getting the advantage and keeping my advantage. Again, I guess that's the only way, really, that you sometimes can get out of Maul, is if your opponent bricks, and then basically you're somehow able to keep the advantage train going where you have force bodies, and your opponent really just doesn't have a way to respond with those force bodies. So we're just going to have to kind of see what we really want to do here on my opponent's side of the board state here, because I do have 6 damage coming in this turn, and I do have 5 up, which just allowed me to use Shadow Point, and then I'm able to gain the force, and then I could use Maul again if they played more bodies out, and all of that. We do see that they do have a Lost and Forgotten, but that's not going to matter. We're going to go for an Old Daka. I'm just reading it. Old Daka states, when played, you may basically bounce a knight unit back to your hand, and then you can play for free. We're just going to kill off Old Daka with, of course, Shadow Point there, burning the force so we can kill everything. And then we're going to go for 6 damage. I just claim the force. There's no point in burning them all. I do have, I think, one random of the guy that when your opponent has credit tokens, you can kill that credit token to gain, to basically get back. Can deal damage to that. I put that in resources. It's just my one of, just in case I have credit creation, like if we ran into a Lando or anything like that. Just to have it as a nice one of. If I had a side deck, I would have sided it out in game 2 because it's pointless in this match. Anyways, I did put out a turret there to deal with, of course, the Maul, and I do have the ability to burn the force for the turret, as well as I still have my ability to flip my leader as well if need be. So we're just going to kind of have to figure out what exactly we want to do on, of course, my Maul, my opponent's side of the side of the board, what they want to do on their for their Maul trigger. I don't know why I said side of the face, but anyways, right now it really has hurt that they basically have gotten nothing that they can really do here. So anyways, it looks like they just took a soft pass here. I'm going to flip for my Maul. I think they take another soft pass here again. So anyways, we're going to go for out of the airlock -5/-5 on the Maul here, so it really can't do any damage, but does have it still. It's on attack trigger for that. So anyways, we're going to go swing 1, and then I'm going to hit one of my guys for 1, so I'm just going to hit the Karis because it does have the effect. Anyways, we're going to go swing at that. We're going to kill off my Maul because of the ping, and then it's going to have to go into turret, so I'm just deciding whether or not I want to burn the turret effect here to reduce the damage incoming into turret. So technically, I don't know, right. The Maul, technically, I think, right, the secondary ping went on the Karis, and then 3 damage to turret. I did reduce the damage turret took. Anyways, I'm just going to kill Karis and the Maul. No point in burning the Karis when defeated the skill, and then I'm going to swing 4 damage, and that is going to be a pass from there. I have all 3 of my Anakins in my hand. I don't know how my deck decided to give me all 3 of my Anakins, but hey, they're there, I guess, for gimmicks. But anyways, we're now both sides of the board, they have now burned out their Maul triggers, so it's pretty important. Now, I am on the winning side right now, so we're going to go for a Nihilus to get an experience token, but that Nihilus is not going to matter here, because I'm just going to go Shadow Point, kill off the Nihilus. I could take the initiative here as well, but I'm just going to be on the safer side and immediately kill off the Nihilus and then swing 4 damage, gaining back the force there, so I don't really have to worry about the pay, and that's just going to be a claim on my opponent's side of the board state. I think they basically have dead drawed most of this game where they're only able to play 1 unit, and I've been able to stabilize at least a unit on my board state. I have a couple of things, like I have no disintegrations and all of that. So, I mean, I could have no disintegrated the Nihilus and then killed it off with a Maul trigger, but that's kind of pointless. Shadow Pointed off the board. Anyways, we're going to go for Shadow Point to burn the 1 use of the Force. We're going to go for the Grand Inquisitor, the IG here, and then it's going to face off against a turret as well. So I'm just kind of figuring out. Anyways, we're going to go for a Dark Tyrannus, and I'm going to trigger Dark Tyrannus. I'm going to have the shield go on first, and then I'm going to ambush into turret for 4, and then we're going to go for the Maul, and then ping. I'm going to ping the Grand Inquisitor, and then kill off, of course, the good old turret there. So nothing to really fear overall. But yes. So basically, the game is still very much in my favor 100%. So unless my opponent gets very lucky with some kind of strange draw, there's not much else they can really do. Again, they do have the Shadow Point in the hand, which they could use for the little Shadow Point effect because they currently do not have the Force to burn to trigger for core Shadow Points. Anyways, we're going to go for an old Daka. Once again, there's no knight besides itself to spin back. So anyways, we're going to swing 3 at my opponent's base there. Of course, putting him up to 20 damage points. And we're going to go Shadow Point for the little Shadow Point to kill off the Dark Tyrannus. And then I'm going to kind of decide what I want to do now, as I'm now staring down a 6/6 body and 6/6 body. Now, I could go no disintegrations onto the old Daka and then use the Maul trigger to ping and just to keep my opponent off of the Force 100%. I'm just asking them what they have. Well, anyways, we're going to go for an Anakin to give -3/-3 to, of course, the 𝐿𝐷𝐂 there, just so I can have a body, and then I'm going to put out a Atreus Acolyte, and then I'm going to pass from there. Again, I'm not too really afraid of an 𝐿𝐷𝐂 6/6. I mean, that would be like the first damage my opponent's been able to do on this board against me 100%, but here, while I have now 3 bodies on board, while he has 20 damage, and I'm still at 0 damage. So, I mean, game 2 definitely feels like it's in my favor, unless my opponent gets beyond lucky with some kind of draw that will win them, that get them back into this game. But game 2 is definitely going to be my game to win, meaning that we are going to be going into game 3. We're going to go for a Lost and Forgotten. That does give them some heals overall for all that. So anyways, I'm going to go for the 3 damage, just putting that damage right back onto the base there, just putting us back up to 10. Technically, they should be at 20 because they healed off 3 damage and then put on 3 damage. So then we're going to have the 𝐿𝐷𝐂 kill off the Atreus Acolyte, taking back 2 damage here. Just kind of figuring out what I really want to do. I don't know why they took the damage to their base. That damage should be at the 𝐿𝐷𝐂 right now. I think they also haven't removed the damage at all from their base. Anyways, -3/-3 to, of course, 𝐿𝐷𝐂 there as well. But again, nothing to do. And then we're going to go Secret of Sage, and then we're just going to ping off my shield and 𝐿𝐷𝐂. I mean, even if my opponent knew how to do math, they should be at 20 and not 23. But I think, honestly, the game is just not in their favor, so they're just going to scoop that one up, meaning we have to go to the all-important game number 3. Welcome, everyone, to that all-important game number 3. Let's see who's going to get out in the end. We're going to start with the Night Sister Warrior, and then I'm going to start with the 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐿. Hey, this looks like just like game number 1. Very similar to game number 1, how it went and all that. Again, I will say one thing for the entirety of this night. This deck did not want to give me 3 drops at all. So anyways, we're going to have the 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐿. I'm just kind of figuring out what I really want to do here, because again, I don't really have like a great way to deal with this now. This Night Sister, now that it has Sentinel for the face. So anyways, I'm just going to swing 2 damage into it. Again, the lightsaber states on it that if the unit does not have the ability or heroic tag, it just becomes a Sentinel here. I'm going to go for the Acolyte of the Beyond to mainly be able to, on attack when defeated, gain the Force. And then I'm just going to go trigger the effect to ping and ping. I do have to remember the ping myself, which I do remember that one. Again, on death, I do gain back the Force. I do gain the Force trigger as well. So it's not too horrible. The fact is I have the Force trigger here for myself as I try to figure out what I'm going to do now against this Night Sister Warrior, because again, it does have 3 extra health points. Anyways, it's going to swing 4 damage into my base again, and I'm going to swing and then kill it off there with, of course, the 5 there, and then it's going to be able to draw 1. Then we're going to both sides are going to put out a church. Again, my opponent right now has the better setup, because right now they have a far better play than anything else here, because I just definitely don't have anything right now to deal with the church. As I try to figure out what exactly I want to put away, I should probably put away the Devastator, if I'm being a little honest. That's probably what I should do. And then I have I decided to put away the No Disintegration, which I don't think I even used once, but honestly, I could have put away the Devastator, but I wanted the 8 cost ship to be my high-end play for the turn, play for the game there, as we both are staring down with a turret with each other, where we could use the Force to reduce the damage the turret takes. Which, I mean, it's not horrible on all that, but still, it could be worse. It could definitely be worse, as both sides stare down each other. We both, of course, have the Force. I am down 8 points on my base, while my opponent still has no damage. We're both facing down a Sentinel, as well as my opponent does have the initiative here. Just kind of deciding on what their plays they want to go with. We're going to go for a 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐿 here, and I'm going to decide to go for a Night Sisters Thousand Assassin here to then burn the Force, give -3/-3 to the turret there, just so that I can be able to then have my turret killed. Technically not kill his turret. We're going to give a Whirlwind of Power so that both turrets can't do anything, because it gives -3/-3 as long as you control a Force unit. So I'm just going to swing the turret to gain back the Force there, and that's pretty much it. And that's all I needed to do, pretty much, is just help me keep the Force trigger alive. And my opponent is just going to claim the initiative. Not much else they can really do in this game state at all. So that's pretty much it. My opponent, I think, is on 3 cards, one of which I know for a fact is a Vader, which is very nasty. I'm going to go for Anakin, give Maul -3/-3 so they could just easily be able not to deal as much damage as I really wanted to. But yeah, now that Vader is going to be a problem here, as we see they have it, as well as they have a Lost and Forgotten, so they are capable of swinging that. But again, you really don't want to swing a Lost and Forgotten until you have damage on base, because it does kind of feel always kind of bad. You lose out on the 3 health points, but we're just going to go for it anyways, just so we can knock out the turret. And then we're going to go flip the Maul. See, I think if I had no disintegrations, I think that would have been a whole lot better in my hand to go onto the turret there, rather than going for a Thousand Assassin. Anyways, we're going to have 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐿 deal 2 damage to Maul there, and then using the effect of 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐿 to deal an extra, give Maul -2/-2. That way Maul can't really do much against anything in this board state right now. So, I mean, I guess I can go Thousand Assassin to kill off the turret, to deal 4 damage to the turret there, and take back 3 here, which again doesn't really matter, because then the Maul is just going to die to the turret, because again, I guess maybe that's why I should have probably kept no disintegration. I could have killed off that turret a whole turn earlier. And anyways, we're going to then just swing 2 damage into the base there, and then ping and ping. And pretty much that will be that turn over with. I still have the force here, but the problem is my opponent still has their Maul still standing, which isn't all that great to see that they still have it standing. I do have the initiative here, so I am capable, of course, swinging in and killing off their Maul, and then I do have my Maul trigger as well, so I can basically swing the Anakin into the Maul, deal the 5 damage. I mean, I technically do not die, but I will die to the Maul. Anyways, we're just going to swing a Dark Tyrannus into the Maul there, and then being able to then burn off the shield first, and then dealing 4 damage to my Maul, basically stating that if they don't have a way to reciprocate against Anakin. And that's where I think I messed up a little bit into this one, where I probably should have gone Anakin 5 damage into the Maul, and then seen what he triggered off of that, and then I could have gone Maul trigger to melee kill off the Maul, or I could have played the Dark Tyrannus and finished him off with the Dark Tyrannus. I could have done all of that a little better, in my opinion. I could have easily wiped out that Maul this turn without having to worry about, like, right here, losing my Anakin on one fell swoop where I don't really have anything to play. So again, that's on me. I didn't see it, and I didn't see it at the time, where I could have easily had been able to kill off his Maul or force the difference in the gameplay because of the Maul there. But yeah, if I had actually gone the Anakin swing, deal 5 damage to the Maul, survived on 1 health point, it would have probably changed how he did things, because there's no reason to use the Shadow Point, and I could still have done Dark Tyrannus to kill off the Maul here. So anyways, then Maul is going to just ping and ping, and then I'm just going to claim the initiative there, allowing me to, of course, continue the gameplay here and all of that. So anyways, we're going to go for Devastator to immediately be able to deal 1 damage to them all, and then finally put some damage on my opponent's base as I put the remaining 3 indirect damage on my opponent's base there, but that's not going to really matter. Here we're going to go for a Thousand Assassin to immediately kill off the Dooku there, and then we're going to basically kind of have to figure out I'm out of resources, so I'm just going to have to claim, and then we're going to have another Thousand Assassin come out, but no effect to give for that one. It's interesting, they haven't, we knew the fact that my opponent had a Vader in their hand, but they decided not to play it at all here. So anyway, just kind of figuring out what we want to do here for all of that. I'm just counting out my resources, kind of figuring out I'm at 9, which means I do have a couple of different plays I can go for. Not many, but there's a couple. And as a reminder, I could use potentially, because I am dead to 2,000 assassins here because of the way because both of them deal 4 damage here to my face altogether. So it's not really all that great to know that. I mean, I do have the Devastator flying in the sky as well, so I am going to decide to just swing the Devastator here first, just in case the Devastator happens to die. Then I don't worry about that one. Anyways, we're going to take 1,000 assassins to the face, and then we're going to ping and ping here. I mean, I guess maybe there's a point where I should have done them all first and then seen if he could have a way to defeat the if he had a way to defeat anything. And anyways, we're going to go for 𝐿𝐷𝐿, but no effect of spinning back any knight back, because again, Thousand Assassin, playing Thousand Assassin for free for just give a -3/-3 to a Devastator that already spent isn't really all that much of pointful in all of that. So just kind of figuring out what we want to do now from this point. Again, the problem here is that we are about to see another constructed lightsaber coming down. While that is going to be able to give raid, we're just going to go for a sign, just to go for a claim, and then I'm going to put out a GI just so I have another force unit out here just in case I want to burn the force. I of course have a force unit altogether to be out of play. So anyways, we're going to go for Lost and Forgotten, the Devastator. I mean, we should have seen that one coming from a mile away. We should have seen that one coming. So anyways, I'm just kind of deciding what we want to do here now. I could go, of course, Shadow Point. Oh, wait, I don't have the Force. So I probably should go Anakin, kill off the Thousand Assassin, and then go for the Shadow Point effect. And then, well, the problem, again, like I said, is that you have 𝐿𝐷𝐿 as well. So anyways, we're going to go for Devastator to kill off Thousand Townsend's assassin and ping 1 damage on the old 𝐂𝐏𝐾 there. And then old 𝐂𝐏𝐾 is going to get herself a lightsaber here, meaning that now the fact of the matter is she deals 8 back at me, as well as having raid 2. So that one's just going to be a concealment there. I just didn't have anything I could really do here. That's probably where I should have maybe swung GI, killed off the Townsend assassin from there, and then I could have gained the force, and then I could have gone Shadow Point there. But again, there was also that turn with the Maul where I should have done things differently to deal with my opponent's Maul. But nonetheless, you don't see it at the moment, and then you see it in post-production, and you're like, oh, that's probably how I should have done it. But nonetheless, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the gameplay and the decks. And if you did, do make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you can notify when my videos go live for you. And I'll see you here next time on Modern Dragons TCG.